Okay, guys. So this is Sammy from EcomSniper, and today, like, we have a guest. Do you mind going ahead and introducing yourself?
Hello, everyone. Hello, Sam. Thanks for having me here. My name is Will. I recently started drop shipping with the help of EcomSniper, and I had no experience prior to that with drop shipping. And of course, I had some experience with online businesses and marketing online stuff like that. But I never tried drop shipping for so many reasons. For the longest time, there was this misconception that I was getting from other people that drop shipping was dead, that was not lucrative or anything like that. But
Well,
of
I
course, like after seeing other people, like real people information and not like people trying to sell you a course or anything like that, like seeing real people doing stuff and sharing their results, I decided to jump in. And yeah, with the Ecom Sniper, I think the it gave me the push that I needed to start this journey. And because I don't think I would be able to do it otherwise, at least the way that we're doing with the Ecom Sniper strategy. But with that help, like I was able to start. And I think a plus to all of this that I'm saying is that I'm in Brazil. I'm Brazilian. I lived for a while in Canada, and like helped me in a way starting this journey because I had like Canadian bank accounts and credit cards that helped me a bit to start. But
Mhm.
now I'm back to Brazil again, and my journey started from here in Brazil. I guess a lot of people is afraid of starting like a business like that because they think it's only for US people. And I'm a living proof right now that you are able to, okay, start as a foreigner.
Yeah, dude. You know what? Like, so basically, like, your eBay accounts are made in Brazil, yeah? Are they registered with a Brazilian address? Um, like, what's the story? How many accounts do you have? How many listings do you have on each account? And what was the setup for your eBay accounts? Yeah.
So for a while, like I thought I wouldn't be able to, I wouldn't be able to start this business like the way do because like I had this question to myself, like how am I going to be able to sell to the US market without a US account, right?
Right.
So at first, like I decided to let me go through the process of opening a US business, and we'll go from there. Like I'll open a US business. And once I get the US business formed, I'll try to open my eBay account with that. So it's just a lot of hoops you gotta go through to start it, right? So once I opened my US business, I learned that I needed a ITIN number, and with that, I would be able to start the eBay business account as a Brazilian, but only if I had a ITIN number.
Right.
So that was the plan A, right? Having a US business with an IT number, I would be able to open that account. But that didn't work. I mean, not that it didn't work, like the IT number, it just takes a long time to process. Like I'm still processing it. Like I'm waiting for it to be delivered to me, right? So I went ahead and researched how other people are doing. And I learned that, people from all over the world are selling to the US market the exact same way that I am doing right now, but I didn't know that prior. Like I thought I needed that US business. So I went ahead and did that research, and I discovered that I was gonna be I was able to create the eBay account as a Brazilian.
Gotcha.
It doesn't matter if you have a LLC or corporation, doesn't matter how the business structure is. Or to my case, I opened a sole proprietor eBay account, right?
What was the limits
So
you got on that?
right away, I got 50K items and 500K.
Gotcha, gotcha. And how long have you been operating that account for now?
I opened that account late September 2023.
Okay.
I left it sitting for a while because Like I got the eBay solved. There was no problem. I created the eBay account with the high limits, but then I had the problem with creating Amazon accounts.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Okay. So that was the actually to to this day, like that's the most challenging part to
Really?
me. Like like challenging because I'm not in the US. Like it's not
Yes.
as easy, not it's not as easy as if I was there, right? So I had to learn and do so many try and errors, so many accounts suspended
Oh man.
until I established
Wait,
until I
so
established like a replicable system, right?
gotcha. Got like so bro, like why don't you share like what was the problem that you had like when you were creating the Amazon accounts? And like what like how were you approaching it and then what did you do to solve it?
So I probably tried all sorts of way of, creating those eBay account or those Amazon accounts.
Yeah.
The thing is like opening a brand new Amazon.com account is already a pattern of fraud to begin with.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
just to open a American account and try to buy something right away, it's already a high risk for Amazon. So they already scrutinize you like on everything that you do, right?
Yes.
So
I read something that it said that already 75% of people in the States have an Amazon account. So that's the
yeah.
reason why like have making an account today is a part of the triggers. So that's a I think that's a very important like concept that needs to be understood. If you made the accounts like 20 years ago, or I don't even know how long has Amazon been out at this point. But you're right. You're right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like the
So
first fraud pattern that they're detecting is when you make the account. So what did you do next? Yeah.
so anyways, it's not that it doesn't work. Like
Yeah.
uh like I think I told you before, like I was in the States, United States a few months back and I was able to create an account, a brand new account from there, like from inside the US with a US residential IP, a my Brazilian computer that I brought there, my laptop, right?
Mhm.
It worked fine. But
You made the
things
account
get
on
sketchy.
that computer?
Yes, I made the account on that computer. It
New
was
Windows
later
profile?
suspended. New one.
Oh,
It was later
okay.
suspended. Okay.
Okay.
But I understood later what happened. Like I think it was to do with inactivity or or based with my payment method that I was using. Like at the time, like I didn't have a American debit card.
Gotcha.
At least I only had one actually, and that only one that I had was not being accepted for no reason. I mean, they were not able to tell me why it was not being accepted. Just
What was the provider of the card?
so, like I said, I lived in Canada, so I had a
Yeah.
RBC US.
Gotcha.
Not it's not the cross country, the cross border account. It's just the RBC US. Like I had a US debit card, a US bank account. So I was trying to open with that. For some reason, they were not accepting it. Like no matter what I did, the
Gotcha.
all the information was correct. The I contacted RBC, it was all correct.
Was it Visa
I
debit?
contact it was a Visa debit.
Visa debit. Okay, that's weird. Gotcha. No,
Nope,
that's
I mean
the
I
address
had
was a US address on the card.
US address, US address.
The register on the bank was a US address.
Yes. So the
Hmm.
way that I mean, this might be a good tip for people that are listening. Like since I'm from Brazil, how did I got a US, uh, like address, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what I did, I asked the card to be delivered to my virtual mail office in the US. So I
Gotcha.
went there, grabbed the card myself. As soon as I got it, I updated the address with RBC to where I was staying. So that was an Airbnb. No problem. Actually, I did it everything online. I didn't have to talk to anybody.
So you got the card and you shipped it to the US virtual mail office, and
Yeah,
then you went on your app and then you changed it to the Airbnb you were staying at.
exactly.
That's good. Yeah, dude, you
Yeah,
can all on your
you know,
app,
like
yeah?
all on your app, and a
Yeah.
month later, and a month later, I got my bank statement with a U.S. address. For
Gotcha.
so many things, you need that. Okay, that's
Yes.
one way of getting it. So,
But why
anyways,
not use just a virtual mail address? Like what was what was the problem with that? Because it's
well,
like a full address as well, yeah?
I tried that first. Okay,
Uh-huh.
I tried that first, but I think for some reason they already flag these
All of
virtual
them.
mail addresses, all of
Got
them.
it.
Like
Got it.
it's just too easy for them.
Or maybe someone
Okay,
else has
so
already thought about this
yes,
and they've already
and
burned all
but
the addresses or something.
I went through that and it didn't work. Then I did it with the Airbnb address. Okay, that's fine. Then I tried on Amazon, didn't work as well. I think it was something to do with the card.
With the
Okay, for
card.
some reason, Amazon didn't like that card, that
Yeah.
PIN number, whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
next thing, uh,
I didn't know
I was
RBC was a US bank as well.
no, they are Canadian, but they do have a U.S. bank too. They do have a branch, not a branch. They do have a division that is
Gotcha.
that's American.
Gotcha. So it's not a
So
cross-border account. It's just like
no,
an
it's
actual.
it's an
Gotcha.
you go to rbcbank.com. It will
Yeah.
be a different website. It will be everything different, but it's just for the U.S. It's
Gotcha.
made for Canadians in the U.S.
Hmm.
basically.
Gotcha.
Okay,
Gotcha.
but anyways, that didn't work. Next thing I did, I was running out of options that I saw on the payment section of Amazon. There was this option called Venmo,
Hmm.
and that's what people know. Like that's similar to what we know in Canada as Interact e-transfer.
Yeah.
It works similarly. So I decided, I was running out of options. I linked my that card that was not working. I linked it to Venmo, and boom, it worked.
Gotcha.
I was able. I created two accounts with that same payment method. And yeah, it worked fine while I was in the States. Like I was priming that account with the things that I needed to be shipped to my address, right? But after a while, when I got back to Brazil, I learned that my accounts were suspended, and I was digging further, like I was doing my research. What happened? They they started they stopped accepting them. Like
Yes.
this December, I just got that message and I wasn't able to use it, and I think that's why those accounts were shut down.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny, man. Like I said,
Because
you thought you won, and then all of a sudden they closed it
all
down.
of a sudden it's back to square zero.
Dude, I'm telling you, in this business model, this is exactly what happens year after year. Like something can be working, and all of a sudden things are gonna change. Like
Like,
go ahead.
and if there's one thing there that's true, like you can win on this business, but you gotta be resilient.
Yes,
Like
you need to pivot at any
you're
point.
it's you gotta be take it as they come and solve problems. You gotta be a problem solver.
Yes, absolutely. So what did you do next, yeah? After like
So anyways, like uh sometimes it takes a while to at least for my case, it took a while to get the bank cards that I signed up for when I was in the States. So I was there for a little bit over a month. When I got the cards, I signed up to three different banks other than RBC US, right? Because I wanted variety of cards, and I pretty much got those cards like on the last week of my trip
gotcha,
there.
gotcha.
So I basically had no time to really test it, and like I was traveling with family and so on. But I got what I was looking for. That was those cards, those debit cards that
Mhm.
I would be able to try, right? All signed up to that address, the Airbnb address there. Anyways, I got back to Brazil and I decided to try everything from
One
Brazil.
second. When you applied for the cards, are you saying you as a foreigner were able to apply to get US debit cards without an ITIN or SSN number?
Yes, totally.
Okay, so now that is a big deal. Like, what's
It is.
the how are you able to do that? I didn't even know that was a
So
thing.
so like there is this barrier, like it's becoming harder and harder to make a US bank account. So basically, some banks will be easier on those rules. Some other banks will be tougher. But in the end, they're all gonna ask you some sort of information. You just gotta be able to provide them with something. I'm not saying you to make up anything. You just gotta provide them with some information. You gotta be ready. You know what they're gonna ask. So they're all gonna ask you some sort of uh, address. You gotta have the address from the place, right?
Gotcha.
So
What address did you
I
use?
was
The
there.
virtual office or?
So there was this one company that I applied with, was Regions Bank.
Gotcha.
Uh, they they didn't ask me for. I mean, I told them that I was a foreigner, that I was there temporarily in the States, and I only had a passport, a Canadian passport, and a
Hmm.
Brazilian passport, whatever they wanted. And they accepted me that way,
Hmm.
as long as I provided a how can I say, a proof of address,
Gotcha.
something, some letter with my name and an address. So I provided them with a letter, a spam letter from Regions Bank to my virtual mailing address saying, here is, you send me a letter, that's ain't that proof enough? Like, just for you to see how serious some banks are in terms of these,
You had the physical letter with
address.
you,
Yes, it was just basically them, oh, you just open this business, why don't you come and open a account with us? Basically that's what I showed them.
so are you
And
telling me like that bank, Regions Bank, was just spamming people like
yeah,
before you
like,
even went there? Like,
yeah, exactly.
no way. Yeah,
That's
what?
serious.
That's crazy, but I didn't. It's only banks can get away with that stuff, huh?
Like,
Unsolicited
it's
mail.
basically those unsolicited mails coming
Yeah.
to your mailbox. I use that on my favor, right? So while they was typing that address, they said, you know, looks like this address here, they're not accepting it for some reason. And I told them, oh, if you wanted, you can use this address here that I'm staying temporarily. I didn't have any proof of that. I told them the address. I gave them the Airbnb address, and they
Did they
were
know
good
it
with
was
it.
Did they know it was an Airbnb or like did you use some word salad?
I didn't said it was an Airbnb. I said it was a short-term rental.
Which is that's
Basically,
exactly what it is.
that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, yeah,
And at the end of the day, it's just people on the bank. They want to do their work. They
yeah.
want to get as much customer as they want, and it's not like you're getting a loan or anything. Like, everything you got to make a deposit. Like, they're not loaning you anything. You're paying monthly fees and everything. Like, as soon as you increase your volume of transactions, they're gonna stop your account. That's the problem with these foreigner bank accounts. Okay, so as soon as you reach a certain limit, like a certain level of transaction, they're gonna ask you for an IT number as well.
Gotcha, gotcha. And that's the
So
case for everybody or
that's the case for every foreigner.
gotcha, gotcha. So you're able to
That
open up the
okay?
account, but you need further
Yes,
verification after.
but they don't tell you that. They don't tell you that.
How did you
Okay.
know then?
I, well, I found that just hearsay online, and I
Yes.
also asked. I also asked them what would happen, when would they need a ITIN number or something like that. They said, oh, in this case, on your situation, you're good until a certain amount, and
Gotcha.
then after that, we're gonna ask you for those papers, that information,
Gotcha.
basically.
Gotcha. So is it any foreigner can get a bank account or is it specifically like Brazil or Canadians? Do they have any
Any foreigner,
discrimination?
any
Okay.
foreigner,
Okay.
but it has to be done in person.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
You
Yeah.
cannot do this online. Okay, that's the caveat. And so from there on, like, as soon as I got my first bank statement from RBC
Right.
US, I had already a legit. proof of address from the Airbnb that I was staying at, and from there I went to another two banks and I applied, and it was easy,
Gotcha.
just with the passport.
So you got a statement from RBC that shows your proof of address of the Airbnb, and you use
Yeah,
that proof of address to go ahead and open up multiple bank accounts
yes.
with the
If I didn't have the RBC proof of
statement.
address,
Yes.
the other the other way of doing it is just waiting for the Regions Bank card to arrive, and then a month later I would have a bank statement as well.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So you could have just, it's always just the first one, yeah?
Yes.
That was the challenge. So
And that tip, like I got from some Brazilian immigrant group on Facebook, like people that are in the States, like people discuss about these things. How do we solve this thing? How do we solve this
yeah,
problem? That
yeah.
tip I got from people there, like, oh, you make your first account. From there on, you can open as many bank accounts as you need with that proof of address.
It's beautiful. It's always the first one that's a struggle, yeah?
Yeah,
I think even with money, it's like the moment you make a certain amount, that's how much it becomes much more easy to make that amount again and replicate that process. It's all about having a
exactly,
system that you can replicate. So
exactly.
with that being said, you said so right now, like um you have how many debit cards? Three?
So I have so with all that information, I got four debit cards. One of them is a business debit card, and I was able to get a credit card as well with
Gotcha.
Bank of America.
Oh, nice.
So
Even without the
when
ITIN, you got the credit card?
yeah, yeah. So it's those cards. It's one of those cards called secured credit cards. The
Yes.
ones that you make a deposit and you live there as a secure right security deposit, right? So when I signed up with Bank of America, they gave me a credit card, a secure credit card, and a debit card, plus the virtual debit card. So I
Wow.
have three.
So Bank of America gave it to foreigners, or you had to make the bank account first?
It was all on the you do everything at once, right? Of
Gotcha.
course, the bank account on the step was the first step, and then once they're finishing, they're asking me if I wanted
Got,
to apply for a credit card, and I said,
as-
like I don't think I'm gonna be approved, but see what you can do for me.
gotcha. But so they gave you a secured one, which they didn't do a credit check. They just asked you
No,
for
they
500
they, they
bucks or
can't.
whatever.
No, like they asked me like you have this option here if you'd like. Like they tried first with the regular credit card, the regular cashback credit card,
Yeah,
and of course I was declined because I didn't have any credit history in the U.S., right?
right.
So they basically, with my information, with my bank account there, of course, with the deposit that I already made at that time, their system allowed me to open a secure credit card because I had money with them already.
Gotcha.
So I had money with them, and they said to me, you can put whatever money you want as security, and that will be your limit.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I hear you. I hear you. So let's talk about the I-10, like how
Yeah.
you are approaching that. So for everybody watch, do you mind explaining what an I-10 is and then what like what's the use case? And then we can take it from there.
So basically, if you want to open a bank account in the US, if you're working for an employer, if you want to open a business, if you want to open a credit card, they're going to ask you for an SSN. That's a document that US residents, uh, or even if they're Americans or not, if they're legally living there, they can have access to a social security number. So with the with the number of people that are living in the US that doesn't have a SSN, the US government created something called a ITIN number that
Yeah.
basically gives you the right to report your taxes, file
Yes.
for your taxes. Okay, that's basically what it's for. It's basically uh, it gives you the opportunity to declare everything that you do or everything that you're going to purchase, you can use that number there. It's basically, it serves the function as a social security number, but of course it doesn't give you the benefits of a social, all the benefits of a social security number. So as a foreigner, that's the thing that you can access and you can obtain by applying and meeting a specific number of requisites. It's not that hard, but everybody can apply for it, and you just gotta meet the requirements. And for my use case, the ITIN number is it's just a solution for me to create, eBay accounts with a American business.
Gotcha.
Because if you have a American business and you're trying to open an eBay account, they're gonna require a SSN for the owner information or director information. So it's either a SSN or ITIN number. Either one of those, they will work.
Right.
And yeah, the ITIN number, I applied first in person and in the US, and I applied with that mentality, to fix the eBay problem of assigning a owner for my eBay, US business, right?
Right. A primary
And of
account holder.
course, yes, and also it comes with other benefits like once you have your ITIN number, you can easily apply for credit cards and bank accounts as well, and they won't be limited the way that I told you before, right? So there will be a regular bank account you can do as whatever you need. You won't be required to submit any other documentation in terms of tax filing. They will have your information there, and uh, as
Right.
soon as tax season comes, they will know where to report it to,
Right.
right?
Right. So what's the process on how do I like I'm asking you just for myself as well. I'm Canadian, right? And I think the
Right.
easiest way to scale this eBay business is to have American accounts. There's so many challenges. Like I think you faced them. You're getting international fees. You got made an account and you got a 500,000 limit. Foreign accounts selling on eBay.com do get scrutinized by eBay. The most resilient way of making accounts and moving forward is to make them based in the US. That's we're talking about US corporation. And to do that, you need to have a primary account holder. And it doesn't necessarily have to be you, but the easiest way to scale a business is to use your information, right? So
Yeah.
how would somebody like go up towards the approach of making an I-10? Give me a step-by-step guide that you would tell me how I can go about this process, yeah?
So there's basically two ways you can go about it. Like you can do it yourself in person or by mail,
Uh-huh.
or you can hire a company to do everything for you. For me, like I decided to do it myself because I already had a scheduled trip to the US. For me, like it made sense to do the process myself. When I was starting this process of drop shipping, I was researching and finding this information, and I discovered I needed ITIN. I I was already going to the US, so I decided to do it myself. But if you're not planning to go to the US yourself, like I would suggest that you go through these agencies that do this application for you. It's not every agency. I heard of some people, applying with a few companies, and that I'll give it to you later,
Uh-huh.
the information. But how do you do it yourself? Like if you want to do it yourself, you got to do it. You got to deliver the paperwork in person, or you do it through mail. Majority of people don't want to do it through mail because they require your passport, the original passport. I think the majority of people don't want to send their
Yeah.
passport to anybody through mail.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
can the other way you can do it, you go by in person. Like you schedule ahead because they're very busy. Like the wait time for an interview is like a month or two, depending on where you're going, right? So you can pick the location based on based on how busy they are. But anyways, you got to provide them with your passport. You got to provide them with a form called W7. That's the ITIN application form. And you got to provide them with the documentation supporting your application. So basically, they're only making this ITIN number for people that really need it. You have basically two situations. Of course, you have several, but the majority of people fall into two categories. You either got a 1099 form, that's to report your taxes, like to file your taxes. So let's say somebody paid you, like I don't know, more than $600 in a given year. You're supposed to get a 1099 form from that person that paid you. So with that documentation, that 1099, you attach that to your application, and then you qualify to get an ITIN number. Okay.
Gotcha.
But if you don't have that 1099, the other way of qualifying is to showing them that you have a business in the US, to open a business in the US, and that you own more than 51% shares of a company in the US.
Right.
I'm not sure I think it's 51%. Don't quote me on that, but you
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
have a company in the US, or you know. So that's what I had. That's what I had. So I provided them with my articles of
Just to be clear, because we talked about this off camera, right? But
yeah,
you're able to open up a US corporation without having
yeah,
the I-10 already. You mind just
yes,
speaking about that a little bit?
yes, I will do that. Let me finish on the item.
Sure.
Basically, you provided I provided them with my business paperwork, like everything that you have filed, like just the basic information of the company. That's what you attach to your application, and that's all they need. And I think that there's no fees for that. Like that was for free. That was free, right? But it's just a long waiting period. Like you just gotta be patient on that. Like till this point, I don't know. You have that feeling like I don't even know if it's gonna be approved or not. I think it's going to, but basically there's no work around this. You gotta wait the 9 to 11 weeks for processing time. Used to be way faster, but there's so many people applying that it's taking that long. So yeah,
Gotcha.
the beginning of February, I should hear from them. But then the next question of yours, like how was I able to open a U.S. business, form a U.S. business? In my case, was an LLC. That was super simple. Like there are companies that provide this service online. You don't have to go there physically and to do any of that. These days, you can do everything online. These companies provide you what they call a registered agent. They provide you with every information, every paperwork that you need. You just file everything, just type everything that you need. You choose the state that you want to form it, okay? And there is another, and then you need that virtual mailing address that we spoke before, right? So you need a address and you need the US number. It doesn't have to be specific to any carrier. You can use a voice over IP uh, provider. That's what I did.
Gotcha.
And yeah, I got my phone number, got my address. Then I filed for my company, got my company information filed and everything done. A week after, I got my EIN number as well. They do
Gotcha.
everything for you. It's usually the best way to proceed about this. Like you just give it to somebody else to do. In this case, there are a few good companies, lots of them actually on the market. I have two to refer to people if they want to know more about it. But yeah,
Right.
anybody can do this from anywhere.
Gotcha.
Unless I think they do have a exclusion list for some countries,
Yeah.
but you can definitely check that on their website. It's nothing crazy. It's doable. It's very doable. You can open the business and you can get the ITIN number and you can get the EIN.
And they do everything for you, yeah?
They do everything for you.
Like the ITIN, the
No, so the ITIN number is a separate company, right?
gotcha,
This co-
gotcha.
this businesses filing companies, they provide you with the articles of incorporation, register agent. They give you every piece of paperwork that you need, that you might need, and they even set you up with like a with Bank of America to start the process of making a business account.
Right.
But of course, you got to be physically in the US to make that first business account with Bank of America. But anyways, they do a whole bunch of stuff. It's very good service. And you know what? The best thing, I thought it would I thought it would be very expensive, and it's not that much. Of course, it's gonna vary based on the state that you choose. Some states are cheaper to file taxes and to file the company paperwork. Some others are more expensive.
Gotcha, gotcha. So is there any like service? So the you said you mentioned there was a service that does for someone who doesn't want to go to the States, right?
Yes.
How would you say the approach would be to get the ITIN that way then?
So that way, I would use let me check here. I had it noted down. Okay, so there's this company called EINexpress.com.
Do you want to share your
So you
screen?
can, how about I'm chatting with you on my mobile. Like, I can't
Oh,
right now,
okay.
but
Yeah, no worries. No worries. Yeah,
let me see if I can share here. So basically, there's two companies that I know from people that work, okay? And I haven't tried it myself, but there's multiple people talking about these online, and
yeah,
it works.
it
Okay.
works. Yeah.
The ITN.com, that's the first one, and EINexpress.com. There's no mistake there. Just Google it, you're gonna find it. DITN.com and EIN Express.
Oh, I
And
I know I know what you're talking about. The guy, his name is Sina.
that's the EIN
Yeah,
Express.
yeah. I know what you're talking about. He still sends me emails today.
Yeah,
I
they're good
signed
at
up.
marketing.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, I signed up like a couple years ago, and I get calls from the guy, like to the point. Now he's good.
Yeah,
A good marketer. He's a good marketer.
like their service for uh, I think they so these two services that I gave you, one costs $350, the other one is $500. They both do the same thing.
Gotcha. So if
And
like
there's
I'm assuming with the I-10, so they're making an EIN, they're making a corporation for you and getting the I-10 EIN anyways.
so we don't know about that. That's what I speculate on how they do it. Like
Okay,
I don't know how they do it,
fair
but
enough.
I know that the IRS, they're able to, they accept your application through some companies,
Uh-huh.
but still, like even if you're applying through some company, you gotta qualify. How you gonna qualify if you don't have a 1099, for example? The easiest way is opening a business, and
Gotcha.
then using that as the excuse for application. I think
Gotcha.
that's how they do, but I
Gotcha.
never got them to come, say that.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So once you so basically just go to these guys and get your I-10 from them, and then what would you recommend after? Then we get a corporation and then open up the eBay account?
Like you can open the corporation. Oh, you should open the corporation before, right? Because you need that as you're gonna need that anyways. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna need it. You're gonna need it if you're gonna apply in person, or I don't
But
know. Like
but once you get
I
your
don't think they're gonna
I-10,
use. Once you get your ITIN, you're still gonna need your corporation. So it doesn't matter the order. I would do the ITIN as soon as possible because that takes the longest.
gotcha. But for the EIN, like once you have an I-10, like wouldn't you be able to just mm, like you wouldn't have to go about a roundabout way of getting an EIN number. Do you get what I mean?
No, the EIN number is associated with the business, right?
Gotcha.
It's not with the individual. The business is associated with the individual. So they're
Gotcha.
gonna do all those connections on the
Gotcha.
background, like, well, if you have the ITIN number, it will be definitely faster for you to get an EIN number for any other company that you opened after that. Because
Yes.
you're able to go on the IRS website and request it, and it's almost instantaneously to get your EIN number. If you don't have an ITIN number, they gotta do a paper filing, right? So that takes a week because
Gotcha.
you gotta fax it and you gotta wait for processing time, and yeah, it takes a
Gotcha.
week.
So for the I-10, like I know you haven't purchased from their website, but you said it was $300.
So the ITN.com, they were asking $350.
Is there
The
any
other
other
one was
fees?
500.
Like if you're aware of it?
Actually, what I heard is that you can get some extra discount if you can see. I don't have a affiliate link with them, but if I
Uh-huh.
had an affiliate link, you could get a $50 discount, so that would drop to $300. It's
So
way
get
way
the
better.
link, man. I'll use your link.
Yeah, I'll get it.
Yeah,
I'll let
try
you
to
know.
yeah, so that way I can
Yeah,
um
like if I get
sell
the link,
profit
I'll let you
from
guys
my
know.
company. Give me one
Yeah,
sec.
that it's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
1 second, bro. Let me pause the video real quick. Again. Okay, so basically, just get the I-10, and then from there, like, the reason I ask is because as I'm aware that if you as you said, if you get the I-10, you get to open up multiple corporations much easier, faster,
Yes.
and it just pretty much you're like a U.S. citizen at that point. This
Yeah.
you'll go through the same hurdles as someone else if they like you wouldn't have to provide anything additional, yeah?
Yeah, like I mean, in terms of eBay, the only thing you have to figure out later is that you need a US IP number,
Yes.
right? US IP address, and ideally like a computer that's being used there and not a proxy or something like
Yes.
that. At least on the beginning, as far as I know, like
Yeah.
on the beginning, you want everything as as legit as possible in terms of location. So if you're opening in the US, IP address in the US, and you got to be physically there, like not a VoIP, uh, phone number, a
Yeah.
legit
Yeah.
provider, and everything.
Dude, you know what?
That's the next step, right?
Dude, you know what? Like on the call on Wednesday, we're gonna do with the Ultimate members. The guy I'm talking about, Sam Riaz, he's actually gonna open up a service that is doing exactly all of that for you, right?
That's
He
cool,
owns
man.
like an IT company, so he is
Mhm.
getting all the static IPs. He's getting the laptop, right? He's getting the phone, everything. He's gonna warm up the eBay account because he has a legit
That's
business
all.
that's gonna like print out the labels, get sales, and then the entire thing is gonna be done. It just all we need to do is just get the corporations and all that stuff set up, and then even if you're not, because I'm facing the same problems as you, man. I'm not from the U.S., right?
Yeah,
And that's what stopped me from tackling the US market for so long because like I just didn't want to like I knew what it takes to make Amazon accounts, to make eBay accounts in Canada, right? Like the IP and these things, the device, they matter, right? Like virtual
yeah,
computers, some people get away with that stuff, but it just never worked for me, man. Like I was not able to do it successfully because, like you're like you need to it's like a war against Amazon, eBay if you're trying to go the virtual route. So
yeah,
I didn't have access and I didn't want to move to the States to go ahead and start do my setup or whatever. But now because we have like a contact who can set up like he'll do the entire like the legit computer, right? He's gonna do like the real mobile phone app. He's gonna warm up the accounts, the static IP addresses that you can see for yourself. Dude, it's gonna be like that is the reason why like how we've been talking about ITINs for how long now? Like
A little bit, like 3 months or
three
4.
months, bro. I've been delaying this process indefinitely because, like I didn't want to face the challenges that you're facing.
Yeah. Like for those that are listening, like
Yeah.
there's definitely money in this business that we're just talking about because there's so many people wanting to do this business, but they just can't because, technicalities or physical location. For people that have the en- entrepreneurial mind, you can make money out of this and everybody wins.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think the next problem that's gonna be faced by you and me, because we're both Canadians with you're living in Brazil right now. I guess you're Brazilian as well. You identify whatever you want, but basically we're foreigners, and the next thing that we need to be able to do is to operate the eBay account smoothly. And you know what? We have the solution. On Wednesday's
Yeah,
call, he's gonna come present it, and then, like as long as we work together, I think that's the key here. You know
yeah.
what I mean? We need to be able to share information together, like work together. Like this is what business is, right? I've been doing this shit for 6 years, and
Mhm.
that is what is I had so many roadblocks because, like if you didn't present to me about the items today, imagine how many years it would have took for me, or maybe I would have never got to it. Do you get what I mean? Like I always knew it, but it's like you
I
need
guess the
to hold
I
your
guess
hand.
like I guess that one of the problems of working online with business that the way that we're doing is that it can definitely be a lonely road. Okay,
Yes.
because you can do it yourself by yourself.
Yes.
Okay, you can do it, but it's just so much easier if you have a community of people, trying to solve the same kind of shit, same problem.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that's what you're building there, and I'm part of it now, and like it's amazing. Like I've been learning so much and learning fast because I'm learning from other experience. And that's the best part of having a group where people are sharing the information, right?
Yeah,
Like lots of
absolutely.
people share stuff there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know what? Like you can in the end of the day, like these problems, and just to speak to that a little more, like if you're how many problems can you solve? You can solve all of them for sure, right? But the
Yeah,
problem is it's a time
the
aspect as well.
time,
Exactly.
yes.
Exactly. There's not enough
Yeah,
time
you
to
can.
like figure everything out
Yeah,
at
time's money,
once.
man, and like if you can focus on what makes you money, right? Why not?
Exactly. Exactly. Just leverage
And
everybody else's collective experience.
uh, and this market is big enough, to get uh, everybody on board. And I don't think, it's not the case where the more competition, it will hurt you. Of course, it will hurt you to to a degree, but you're gaining way more.
Yes.
You're
Absolutely.
getting way more, by sharing and receiving information. Like, yeah, you're getting ahead.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what? There is not enough room for everyone in the world to make money in this business,
Yeah,
but for a select community, right? They will be able to do it, right? We just have to
I agree.
be the best community. That's what it comes down to. And
Mhm.
what I will say to that is, like, so what's your plans moving forward? And then, like, do you see it possible to make $1 million? Tell me that, yeah?
I think it is. I think it is.
Dude, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Like, what do you need right now to be able to execute that?
So all that we discussed on this video is basically my plan A. Okay, how I've been doing my plan A, and but so far my plan A is not in execution yet. It's not making me money yet.
Yeah.
So I'm working on my plan B. My plan B, is it's probably as solid as plan A, and it's making me money right now because that's what I'm doing right now to make money with eBay, right? So I was able to open two Brazilian accounts in totally foreigner. I know I'm gonna be scrutinized uh, way harder, but
Yeah. Sure.
I decided to go for it, right?
For
And
sure.
I think that route is also possible.
I'm telling you, like that is exactly what I'm doing right now, actually, with Canadian accounts selling in America. Um,
Mhm.
but you know what? Like there is other
it's not
obstacles.
as good as the first one, right? It's
Yeah,
not as good
yeah,
as plan A because like on my plan B, I need for every eBay account that I create, I'm comfortable with getting a 500K limit. Okay, if I can do multiple accounts, and basically, if I want to do 30 accounts, I need 30 people's information.
yeah.
And by information, like I mean like people from my family, let's open a eBay account here. We'll go through the process, and they don't get to pay any taxes or anything like that. It's it's like they sell on eBay and they pay to me kind of thing
Gotcha, gotcha.
because it's like I'm doing the service for them and they're paying me back. So their net cost or profit is zero at the end of the year. You can pay them something if you want or whatever you feel comfortable with, but it's doable and it's the same idea. I
You
need
have
30
30 people?
computers. I do have. I do have 30 people. People here have a big family, man.
Wow. Okay. Okay. That's
That's one of the reasons. That's
yeah.
one of the reasons I got back to Brazil, right? So like being close to the family, it's good. It to a certain extent, it's very good. So
People in your family
I need
trust
to,
you, huh?
yeah, like
You're like
it's
the
the kind of
smart
thing
guy
that
and
it's one of those things that you don't only do for your family, and you
yeah.
would only trust them. Okay, but basically here I can do like I need 30 people's information. That's if I want 30 eBay accounts. I'm comfortable with 10 right now to begin with. Let's set a 10 goal, and
Yeah.
then from there on we'll go to more. But 10 people information, 10 computers, 10 laptops, 10 IPs. It can be a static IP or a residential IP because all of these people they have houses with, you
Yes.
know, residential IPs
Yeah.
that I could
Absolutely.
plug in a computer there too. That would minimize the cost of operation. That's good too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you just get a what else? 10 uh I don't know, eSIM,
Yeah.
right? For
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
phone numbers. There you go. I can replicate everything that I'm doing 10 times. And
Absolutely.
I started doing with my wife. So I have one account for me, one account for my wife. She got the same amount, the same limits as I did. So yeah, I'm gonna do it slowly but surely, building that those other accounts, and I'll report back because my plan A is still on en route.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You know what? Like one thing I will comment on is how, how was your what was your experience with like your first sale on eBay? Like I remember like it took you a long time to start. Like we were doing a bunch
Man,
of research.
like it's one of those things where you see other people having results fast, other people having results some way, another way. Everybody's experience will be different, and that's how it was for me. Like my first account was different than the second account, and it took me like a week to get my first sale. A little bit over a week.
Yeah.
Okay, little bit over 1,000 listings. I was freaking out, thinking that I did something wrong because I was in the group. People were sharing their sales and revenue, and I thought,
Yeah.
what the fuck's going on?
I'm
What am
telling
I doing wrong? It's nothing. You got to remember, you have zero reputation and on the marketplace, and it's hard to do your first few sales. But once you do your listings all properly, and you play with the numbers, like you're listing a lot, you have a lot of items to sell, all optimized with the title optimized, images optimized, description optimized. It's just a matter of time,
Did
and
you
that's how
make
it
your own
happens.
collages for your images?
I did. I did that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So your images
Like
are
just
unique, yeah?
just to differentiate, nothing fancy, but just to differentiate
Yeah,
and make it highlighted from the crowd. But
absolutely,
yeah,
man.
like it took a while, but it took a week. It's not a while. It took nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
That
Yeah.
was so fast. And from there on,
Sometimes it
it
happens
was,
the same day. It's literally a
yeah,
numbers game. It's all about a
it
little
is.
bit of luck, and if you don't have it, you just force it by a bunch of listings.
Yeah, and it just snowballed with the year end, like Boxing Day and everything.
Yeah,
So New Year's, people buying a lot of stuff, and yeah, like
there's always a
so
reason.
we're basically talking about a three 2 to 3 weeks experience, right? I got probably 40 sales
Oh
on
wow,
like 2 to 3 weeks
oh wow, and
on
this,
both
like,
accounts, okay? On both
yeah,
accounts. But I come from a experience where I tried before, selling on Facebook, like Facebook ads, stuff like that, stuff that didn't work for me,
yeah,
and all beaten up by the trying these methods from people that doesn't work. When
yeah,
you see something that works like that, it's just amazing. Like coming to life, something that you always picture but never happened.
yeah, yeah.
And my first sale, like I probably won't ever forget.
I'm telling you, like, what was your emotion like? What did you feel when you first saw it? Like, give me like what was
Well,
running.
the first thing I did was to sh- shove into my wife's face. See, I'm telling you, this stuff works.
It's real. It's real.
it's It's
Yeah,
real. I'm not just wasting time here. I'm doing stuff. Of course not. I do a whole bunch of stuff, but you know, it's hard to tell people stuff how they're supposed to work, and you trace the whole plan and everything, but you haven't made a freaking sale, right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
once you get it, it's just awesome.
When you get your
It's awesome.
first sale, like, okay, now everything is real. Everything was theoretical. It sounds good on paper. It's like the stuff you
Yeah,
watch on YouTube. Like, yeah, it sounds good, but
exactly.
until you get your first sale, you haven't started. Like, you're just doing everything for entertainment or whatever.
Yeah, and
But
and
that
I'll tell
first
you,
sale
like,
solidifies you.
one thing more, like actually for everybody that's listening to this and haven't started drop shipping or want to start and haven't done it yet, like it's one of those business where you're not going to be able to figure out everything beforehand. It's impossible. And I'll tell you, like, I'm one of those guys that like to have control of the majority of things that I can.
That's
At least,
exactly what you said before. I remember
I
you
like,
told me that exact thing.
yeah,
Go ahead.
and that's good to a certain extent, but a lot of stuff you won't be able to. You just won't be able to figure out beforehand. Like you got to experience it too, and then you figure out later, because
Yes.
that's how, for this business at least, that's how you're gonna have to face it. Otherwise, you'll never start it.
Yeah, yeah. I remember you told me in the beginning too, you're like, I want to learn everything, I want to know everything first. But
Yeah,
but there's no way. You'll never learn.
no way.
Even till this day, man, we're solving problems, like cutting edge
Every
problems.
day.
Imagine you're waiting for the solutions before you started.
Yeah,
No,
having everything perfect.
yeah, we
Yeah,
still haven't figured it all out yet. We're still
yeah,
like trying to make the 30 accounts, like smoothing out refine the process. We have something working, right? We
yeah,
have something working, but I will say this, if we did figure it out, I would probably close the platform. Like
yeah.
just to everybody who's inside. Like there would be no
And
need at
like,
that point anymore for anyone else.
and you can speak more to that than anybody else, at least definitely more than me. Like eBay today and Amazon today is totally different than it was in 2022.
Yeah,
Totally different. Like, and it's ever evolving.
of course.
The more like having this platform of people together, it it expedites the process for everybody,
Yes, absolutely.
including yourself.
Absolutely, 100%. That was actually the main reason and intention behind opening it up, because if we really have figured everything out, how to make $1 million like tomorrow instantly, why the hell would we share that, right?
Yeah,
For just a monthly fee. Why wouldn't you just replicate the process indefinitely, make as much as you can, and walk away like bandits? You know what I mean?
like I feel like what you made with the software and the intelligence behind it, like the putting everything together. I know there's lots of other similar services to the one you offer online, but
Yeah,
none of them are like that. Like the majority of them, they use API connections to begin with,
yeah,
So that's a big no-no for new accounts. And they're all big companies, and they're not like the guy, a guy that you can go and speak to, and we're gonna tailor a solution for everybody that's on that circle. Like you can't
Yeah.
have this any other place.
Yeah. No, I
So
get it.
what you made, like it enabled for people that wanted to start into drop shipping, because I probably would never start without this software. Like there's
Yeah.
no way I would feel like starting if I didn't have the easiness of listings like EcomSniper. Okay.
Product hunter.
But
Basically.
yeah, and Product Hunter and the list and the bulk lister, right? And of course, in return, you get and everybody else gets the shared information of a whole bunch of people trying to fix the same problem.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
that's freaking valuable.
Dude, that is probably the software is great. Like, don't get me wrong. I use the software every day. Like my entire
Mhm.
team uses it. Like we are like completely reliant on it. But the software without the knowledge accompanied by it is useless. You can have
Yeah,
like the best, most powerful software in the world, and you have an eBay account with 10 item limit. You're
hmm,
finished. There's no point in that. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
I
Ecom
know.
Sniper, like what we envision it to be, is really like a knowledge hub. That's what we're trying to go towards, right? And then we just offer the software, with it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? That's like the tool, right? Like you have your weapon, which is the sniper, but then you have your shield, which is your knowledge, right? That was the kind of like the vision that we had moving forward with it. And I'll just repeat this one more time because I think this is absolutely true, like if we figured out this problem, right, like really to execute 30 accounts, make $1 million for each of us, like the platform would be closed. Like it would
yeah.
be at that point there whoever's in, that's it. And then we just continue from there because there would be no need for anyone else. It would just saturate the market at that point. Like imagine we all worked together, we figured out the problem. Like we wouldn't be giving it away at that point. You know what
Oh
I mean?
yeah.
You would you would want to just clear as much as you can as fast. And I think that is important as well to know. Because if something is working, like I've personally been in the situation, like this is my first-hand experience, right? The blueprint for eBay dropshipping was actually completely figured out in from 2020 to sorry 2018 to around 2020 to 21, right before eBay changed to managed payment. You could
Hmm.
make as many eBay accounts as you wanted, and they would be fine, right? They would just go through. Like they weren't using the ITIN to verify the accounts. It was something else at the time. And at that time, I had the solution. I made
Yeah.
22 accounts. Right? The software was not at the same level, but eBay was also much easier at that time. Right? I made as much as $10,000 in a day. Just one day, I was able to clear 10 grand. And then what happened was that like I finally came to a point where like all the knowledge accumulated, and in that time, that was when I made as many accounts as I can. Right? I literally made 22 accounts in the span of like 2 weeks or something. Like
Hmm.
that's what happened, right? And then what would happen would be like some time with like the accounts were warming up, we posted items, right? And then 3 months later, eBay announced, "Hey, we're changing everything." Right? Where you have like 1 month to go ahead and upload I because all the accounts were like fake names and stuff, and it didn't matter. eBay wasn't
Hmm.
scrutinizing at that time, right? eBay gave us, you have 1 month to upload the photo IDs for all of the accounts, right? The bank statements and stuff like that. And I was like, oh man, I'm like, I'm shaking it, right? In 3 months, in 1 month, like my entire operation went from like seeing the most money I've ever made to like all of a sudden 2021, I believe, everything just shut down, right? It took like after that, like I was looking for like techniques and ways to make the accounts one after the other, like experiments, just one after the and then working on the software because eBay became harder, so that means our software had to improve as well. So it was just this constant, like effort to make it just to make it back to that level I seen. But what I wanted to comment was what my mistake was during the early days was actually I feel like 22 was just like I had a window of actually I had a window of like not 3 months, around 6 months. I took the first 3 months slow or whatever, but the blueprint was ready, right? I made 22 accounts. I could have made 220. You know what I mean? It was literally just a copy and paste at that point, right? Instead of making 10 grand, I could have done 100K in a day potentially.
Yeah,
I don't know if it would have worked out that the numbers like that, but it would have been much more significant. And if I walked away 3 months of just executing it like that, right, I would have been done. You know what I mean? It would have been done. This business model, things changed. Like we could have figured out everything, right? And
yeah,
that's exactly what happened to me. I feel like I figured out everything. And then what happened was things changed. In the same manner, that cycle can happen once again. You know what I mean? I wouldn't trust it for anything, right? What I do trust is if something is working, you should scale it to the moon as fast as you can, make as much as you can, and then walk away. And another point I will add, when my out of the 22 accounts, four survived because I put them under like people that I actually knew, and I went and I contacted them later, and I'm like, hey, like let's make a partnership, whatever, and I sent their IDs. So that four of them survived like that. But the other ones,
hmm
they were all like fake names, like where I wasn't even able to find anyone, let alone ask them for their IDs or something. But later on, what happened was like I met someone in the last 6 months. I told him the story, and he told me like, dude, you could have. I'm not gonna tell what he like the solution on camera, but I'll tell you afterwards. He says, yo, dude, you could have just done this, right? I'm like, no way. You're telling me uh, all of those accounts would have survived today? He's like, yeah, that's exactly what I did. And my in my head, I was like, God damn, you know what I mean? Like there was a solution. I just didn't know it because there was
yeah,
no network, there was nobody to ask. You know what I mean? You need to be in a position that if you don't know something, like you can ask somebody or like come up with solutions. Like the collective experience and knowledge from people is powerful, man. So
it
that
is.
community is what I was lacking the entire time. And you know what? Like I'm really grateful for you joining us and like sharing everything that you know. And you know what, my friend? Like as long as we execute this plan, right? I will give you my full support, man. Like,
Yeah,
let's make this a reality. We'll walk away clear, and then we'll go invest in property or something. We'll figure it out after. The first thing
yeah.
is we just execute the plan. Yeah,
We'll need a fund manager a year from now. Like so much money will be laying around.
I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you, dude. Dude, like the thing is, like, you meet so many people. There's like, I feel like the first thing that we all have to do is you need to clear $1 million in cash. Like that's gonna
Yeah,
be the hardest part. Like, but once you do that, there's like 1,000 ways to go about it. And you can clear the $1 million in so many different ways, right? Like everyone
yeah,
has a model and stuff. But in the end of the day, it comes like I feel like the truth about this all is you need to do something that's working and you need to scale it. Like those are the two things that need to be done. Like anything works, every business is real, but you just need to be able to scale it. You know what I mean? And
that's true.
this business model is not something, in my opinion, that you should have like, oh, I want to make 10 grand a month. I want to make 20 grand a month. That is like, that is not the right mentality for this business. It should be a
Yeah,
set monetary value of how much you want to make, and that's what you're aiming for. I want to make $1 million. You're working towards making that, and like, you don't look at how much you're making monthly because those numbers are gonna vary, and this business model is
yeah.
not stable, right? It might not last it forever, but the opportunity is present today. Yeah, so that was my story about what happened to me. And this time around, what I'm planning to do is like the ITIN is gonna take me, I think you said three months to get.
Yeah, this time of the year, that's what it takes. After April, they
Yeah.
they say it takes 7 weeks.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you. So on Wednesday,
Sooner the better.
yeah. I hear
The
you.
sooner the better.
I hear you. On Wednesday, we're gonna be doing a group call with with that guy who's made the 15 accounts. Like his plan is solid. It's working. He made the accounts. Like he'll whatever he's gonna show us. Like we can do it ourselves, but he's gonna
Hmm.
offer an opportunity for us to leverage his resources. So it's not like
Yeah,
there's any secret or anything like that. It's just, hey, you know what? Like I can do it for you as well.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hey, that's awesome. That's awesome because you know a lot of people, a lot more people would be able to join and you know would be able to scale with a
Exactly.
solution like that.
Exactly. And like something we talked about residential IPs and stuff at length before. It's like it's not like you're gonna go blindly into it. You know what I mean? It's like
Mm.
you know exactly what he's doing. Like you can do it yourself. It's just he's gonna do it for you. And scaling like that, I feel like that was what was missing for me as well. You know what I mean? Like we warm up the
Yeah,
accounts with books and stuff like that. But imagine like someone printing out the labels, shipping out like real products, like safe items. Like you get your first couple sales, how powerful that would have been. You know what I mean? That
I
is like
agree. I agree.
yeah, that is the service that is like coming out, and like I don't get anything out of it. Like I'm just excited to use it, and like I was procrastinating on this ITIN for so long because I was like, man, I have to go to US, make US accounts, like I have to make the IPs. I know it all, but with
Hmm.
this it would become a game changer, like something that is
Yeah,
actually actionable, like today. You know what I mean?
yeah. The like the IT number it gives you so much more stuff that you can you know you can use for other stuff too. Like if for example you want to open a business and serve the you know and you want to get a I don't know any other online business
Yeah,
and you want to get a American payment processor, you can get it, but you got to get the ITIN number. Otherwise, you have to rely on Canadian payment processor.
yeah. No, that's
You know what I'm talking about?
yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. And like you don't want to do that because again, if you want to do a business in America, you should have
Yeah,
American processors.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I mean, processor is just an example, but for everything else, like the best credit cards in the world, they're all in the States.
Yeah,
Okay, in terms of cashback, in terms of rewards and everything, you know, in
absolutely.
terms of limits. So yeah, it gives you access to a lot of good
Exactly, yeah.
stuff.
Exactly. You know what? You're absolutely right. If you want to do business, like you need to be in the States. Like if you
Yeah.
that's what I all that I that's what I think as well, but you know like yesterday, funny enough, I looked into you know what the most what country has the most native speakers? China.
China
China. You know, China
could
is
be.
is bigger. It's like the same size as Canada, like the geographically, and it has
Mhm.
1 point like 2 billion people or something.
Yeah,
I thought like the most native speakers were English, right? But it was actually China. So maybe like either way, yeah, one of the two. Like I feel like there's a huge opportunity in China as well.
there is.
But you know what? In our case, I think America is great as well
It
because
is no, you know, like
consumerism.
America is, you know, that's where the money is.
Yes.
Yeah, China is second in terms of, you know, volume and everything. And you know, like everything comes from China. If I had the chance, I would definitely, you know, like to have you know the knowledge to source things from China because if you can make that bridge between China products to the US smoothly, there's a lot of money there too.
Yeah.
And I know people
Absolutely.
doing that on eBay too, right?
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
with any other business, like everything that we buy on Amazon, everything that we're selling comes from China.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Eventually, it left China.
Dude, you know what? Like I know a guy. Like he's doing exactly this. He sources all of his products from China and then he's selling it on eBay. I've been trying
Mhm.
to get him to join EcomSniper for so long now because
I
like
know.
I want another person who's like an expert in that field to come and teach us. Because in the end
Yeah.
of the day, like I think at this point, like you don't want to go into a business cold. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You don't want to learn
that's
sourcing
definitely
cold.
that's that's what a lot of people migrate from to, right? Like if like a lot of people eventually leave the dropshipping business and they go to a brick and mortar type
Yeah,
of business.
yeah,
That would be the one that you could serve Amazon FBA or
yeah,
eBay,
absolutely.
right?
Ab-
So yeah, like I don't know if I would ever want to do that business. I think the one that I'm doing right now, it's working. I wouldn't change that too much,
yeah,
but that's a nice business model. A lot of people do it and make a lot of money.
yeah. No, I hear you. I hear. I feel like the moment I would switch over to any other business model would be like when I clear $1 million within a year. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Where you can like actually see it. And then from there on, like you will feel like there will be other opportunities, and it's completely doable too, you know what I mean? As long as the execution is done. And I think one soft aspect is, like we knowing what to do and actually executing it are two different things. You
it
know what I
is.
mean? Like I think you know as well, right? Like just the actual experience of doing it, it's not easy, man. Even running the operations on a day to day. Imagine you have 30 accounts, you need VAs, right? Running the entire business model is gonna become like it's completely different, right? The
Yeah,
hands-on experience. But
it gets more complex by by the day, and
yeah,
if you're when you're scaling, the problems they just grow too.
yeah, I'm telling you, the small
No
things
way.
they become huge problems all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like small things all of a sudden like the hugest problem, like for example, let's say like when for example I'll tell you one of my problems, right? New Year's, right?
Hmm.
My team needed a day off for their families.
Right.
I'm like, who's gonna do the work then? We have customer service, we have orders, like what do you mean they're gonna take a day off, both of you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Pull up. Yeah, pull up your sleeves and you start doing it yourself. That sucks.
Dude, I started doing it
Somebody.
myself and I was like, what am I doing? Like I started clicking, I felt so slow. Like I felt like I didn't know what I'm doing. Like I was so uncomfortable because your team is managing it for so long, and they're in a flow, and then all of a sudden you have so many accounts to do, and you're like, what the hell's going on? I had to take one of my other team members who was working on something else, and I made them do it instead, and I went to bed. I'm, tell- I'm telling you, man. They spent like the next 15 hours, man. Man,
How many orders do you get a day average?
I have at this time I have 15 accounts. So maybe let's say maybe anywhere around, like honestly it varies so much, anywhere from like 50 to
Uh,
150. Like I would say
wow.
around that range. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I know
Like
what you mean.
yeah, it's just and but some of the orders are like traffic items, like where you have are they like $10 items. But we mark it up everything up higher. Like this business can be optimized so much, but I guess the first
Yeah.
thing is you really need to have the accounts, right?
Yeah.
That is
And
everything.
yeah.
Everything.
And from there, like once you have the accounts and
Yeah.
the time, the seasoning, like then you can go gradually increasing the volume, right? Because that's the thing at the end of the day. Like you gotta pay attention so you don't sell too much. You
Yeah.
know, you
Yeah.
know,
Exactly. Exactly.
there's a lot of stuff, right? But I feel you like yeah, 150 orders a day. It's a quite a bit of work.
Yeah, and like anywhere from that range. Sometimes we have more, sometimes like it just a range. You know what I mean? And
And
definitely,
every day,
yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't stop.
Doesn't stop. It doesn't. So that. Sometimes we do get the occasional restrictions on eBay, the
Mhm.
Vero or whatever. But dude, I'm telling you, man, we can really like just scale it, but not everybody. Like this is my one thing I think about a lot. not everybody is gonna be able to make 30 accounts. Like how many people, I don't know the exact number, right? But how many people do you think are gonna be able to execute 30 accounts so that it doesn't like severely impact each other? What do you think?
Oh, if you think about 30 accounts, that's 24 million items that we're talking about, roughly.
300,000,
Listings.
300,000, 10,000 items on.
Yes. So let's say our whole group, everybody does, you know, the 300,000, that's 24 million, around 24 million items. Ever thought about that?
Yeah,
We're
that's
gonna
crazy.
change the, so that's gonna mess up the whole thing. Like, of course, there's way more than that listed right now, but
Yeah.
to a certain degree, that definitely changes things.
You know, I think about that and I really wonder if that's
Change.
the
I
case.
just don't know. I just don't know how it's gonna change, but I think something. I mean, no way it's not
Well,
gonna change anything.
let's look at this, right? AutoDS, right? Like one of the competing
Mhm.
softwares, right? They have
Mhm.
like thousands of members.
15,000 members.
15 like active members. Do you know if that's active right now?
Well, that's the information I heard from last year, early last year. So there's probably way more now.
Gotcha, gotcha. And each of them, let's say they have like 1,000
Yeah,
items. So what's
that's a
15,000?
lot of people.
So 15 million items or more. Like there's I know guys that have like accounts with like 30,000 items and stuff with AutoDS. And do,
Mhm.
and even with them present, we are able to make money.
Yeah, it
You get what
just
I'm saying?
I guess it doesn't matter. It's not much of a volume problem. It's more of a because you can put as much listing as you want, but at the end of the day, the better the listings,
Yeah,
the better everyone's listings is.
yeah,
Like the better their ranking
yeah,
and the higher the competition is in
yeah,
terms of it's not in terms of volume, but more like imagine a volume with high quality.
yeah, yeah.
That's the
Absolutely,
difference.
absolutely.
So I think to a certain degree that might affect a profitability, but it might not.
It might not. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Well, well, then again, right? There's only like maybe 10 people.
I don't know how many people you know or how do you do things yourself, but when you need to buy something online, how much time do you spend to buy something online? For me
30
personally,
seconds.
if I find right away what I need on
Yeah,
the first page, that's what I'm doing. Done. You know. But I know people that they will waste like hours looking for all the pages and reviews of stuff, but it's not everybody.
yeah,
Okay. So
yeah.
I guess the people that can rank the first pages, they're the ones that you know gonna make the most.
Absolutely. No, I hear you. I hear you. And that process, like I believe like I think we could get 30 people that execute 30 accounts without causing like serious harm. Do you get what I mean?
Oh, you gotta first think like how many people will treat this business the way it should be treated
Mm-hmm.
to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Like how many people will actually do the work, will won't stop at the comfortable level of oh I'm making 10,000 a month. How many people
Yeah.
will stop there? How many people will actually push forward, work harder, get more infrastructure, more people to work with,
Yeah.
and push harder? Not a lot of people gonna do that
Yeah, for sure.
because
For sure.
it's comfortable for someone, to stay at a certain level and having less work too. So
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
even know if we will get 30 people.
No, no, I don't know. What I'm just saying is I see room for 30. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Re- But
yeah, I believe.
ideally we should have as many people in our community reaching that 30 accounts because we're gonna face more problems, right? And if you get to that point alone, you're gonna be isolated.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I
You
agree.
like it is in our best interest to get everyone at the same level. That way we're solving the same problems. You know what I mean? That is the most ideal situation. Otherwise, you're gonna, like solving those problems at scale alone is tough. We might run
It's
into
hard enough.
severe problems, man.
It's hard enough. Yeah.
Well, all right, man. I think that's it for me. Yeah. Will, thanks for joining. If anybody has any questions for Will, he's gonna be inside the Telegram chat, so just hit him up. Um, Will, anything else you want to say before we call on this?
Like I think that for those that are foreigners and want to experience this, of course, there is a clear path for those that have the America with a easy access, or you live
Yeah.
in America. But if you're a foreigner, there is a way for you to do this, and it's not as straightforward, but it's doable, and you
Mm-hmm.
just gotta go through some more hoops, but it's definitely worth it. And yeah, if you're on the fence, like give it a shot. Like I think it's totally worth it.
I hear you.
And you just got to do the work. It won't come for free.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing's ever gonna be handed to us, man. Especially because we're
Yeah,
men, bro.
yeah,
Gotta make your value. Okay,
exactly.
guys. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.